Hello everybody out there and welcome back here once again with the future to another DVD and VHS collection update. If you are just tuning in or you have not seen my other DVD and VHS collection updates, go up to the suggested box to the right and I will put the playlist back up there in the suggested box, and you can click on it and go back and check out all my DVD and VHS collection updates. I want to thank everybody who has subscribed lately. Left any kind of comments or feedback, given me any kind of likes. If you checked out my last video, which was a special update over 2 sets of the Marx Brothers movies that my father was able to pick me up, and I really appreciate it. It was over that, and it was also my 10th anniversary here on YouTube / birthday. Yes, I started this channel in January 27th, 2007, so I'm glad that I have finally surpassed the 10-year mark on this channel. So I thank everybody who over the years has left any kind of feedback or given me any kind of support. I really appreciate it. So if this is your first time watching, hit that sub and support me for the next 10 years here on the channel. So let's get into the update right now. Obviously, it has to do with Sean Connery as James Bond. And yes, I'm going to call this one my DVD and VHS collection update James Bond special. So hopefully all the James Bond lovers come out and check this out. If you are new to the James Bond series and you don't know much about him, I do have a little write-up here on him. James Bond is a fictional character created by novelist Ian Fleming in 1953. Bond is a British secret agent. He goes by the code name 007, portrayed by actors Sean Connery, David Niven, George Lazenby, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, and Daniel Craig, who starred as Bond in the reboot of the series. In the 26 productions, only 2 were not produced by Eon Films. They now hold the full rights to the adaptations to all of Fleming's Bond novels. By the way, Eon does, and all the rights to the films are now owned by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, aka MGM, the regular season and the non-Eon films. Here in the back are a bunch of the Sean Connery films that I had already had in my collection. I was trying to pick up, every film that he did. You have, Dr. No, Thunderball, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger. I have actually 2 copies of Thunderball actually on DVD, and then Diamonds Are Forever. This is not all of them, but I was trying to pick up, the complete collection of all the Bond Connery movies. And I do have other Bond movies as well, featuring other actors. Actually only 2, because I'm only pretty much a fan of the Connery Bond films. But, I didn't have them all. The VHS tapes don't have audio commentaries, and the DVDs do, so when I came across these at Walmart, I had to pick them up, and it's none other than the Sean Connery Collection Volume 1, 007 there, and Sean Connery Collection 2, Volume 2 there. And this is very cool. These are very cool, by the way. Not this. Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger there. All the Bond films that Connery starred in. You have Thunderball, You Only Live Twice, and Diamonds Are Forever there in Volume 2. So very sweet pickups here. And just to get into, on the back here, you have little write-ups and the dates that they were made. So in his explosive film debut, Ian Fleming's immortal action hero James Bond blazes through one of his most spectacular adventures to battle the diabolical villain Dr. No, a scientific genius bent on destroying the U.S. space program. That one was made in 1962, the first of the Bond films, starring Sean Connery. I already had, like I said, I was trying to get a hold of all of them individually, and I already had the Dr. No on DVD solo here. You had the special feature audio commentary featuring director Terrence Young and members of the cast and crew. And what I thought was cool is that I was like, I wonder if they have the audio commentaries on them. Well, Dr. No, both that and the collection DVD are exactly the same. And then I checked them all out, and they all do have the audio commentaries that are on the solo efforts. Even though I only have 2, all I had to do was check the 2, and I'm pretty sure that they're all the same as the solo effort DVDs that are released of them as well. So that's Dr. No. And then you have From Russia with Love. And the write-up on that says a brutal helicopter attack, a deadly brawl aboard the Orient Express, beautiful women, and exotic locales are all part of the job in this Bond adventure as 007 squares off against the evil Spectre organization in a race to seize a Soviet decoding machine. And I did have the VHS solo effort of this, James Bond 007 collection, MGM United Artists. So very cool to have the VHS, but yeah, you're not going to get any commentary on this, so this collection, I have the audio commentary now on, which I'm a big fan of the audio commentary tracks, if I have not mentioned that already. My orders are to kill you and deliver the Lecter. How I do it is my business. Gran up there saying that to Bond. So cool on the cover art there too. And then the next one we have in the Connery Bond films, Goldfinger. And I already had that on VHS as well from the James Bond 007 collection. I found these all at various thrift shops, Salvation Armies, in case anybody's wondering. And I've showed these off in past vids. Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. Do you expect me to talk, Goldfinger? I read that backwards, but you get the point. Very cool. Goldfinger made in 1964. And the write-up on that is from the opening bomb blast outside a steamy nightclub to a last-minute escape from the president's personal jet. This exhilarating adventure pits 007 against the maniacal villain bent on destroying all of the gold in Fort Knox and obliterating the world's economy. Goldfinger. So you gotta love that. That's Volume 1 of the Sean Connery collection. And Volume 2 that I picked up had his latter films on it. And that was Thunderball from 1965. It's action, romance, and edge-of-your-seat suspense as Agent 007 travels to Nassau to track down villainous criminal Emilio Largo, who threatens to plunge the world into a nuclear holocaust, but not before he feeds Bond to his killer sharks. Gotta love that one. I have the solo effort DVD of that one. Those were the only two DVDs I was able to find the solo efforts of. Nobody Does It Like Bond, it says again, was Dr. No and Thunderball. And that's how I was able to check and see if they were the same as in the collection. And as you see, Thunderball there. But it does have yellow writing. Does this have yellow writing? No, it doesn't. But they basically are the exact same features and everything. They do look a little different. But I did check them out, and they all have the audio commentaries. This version actually had two audio commentaries. It has featuring Terrence Young and others, and featuring Peter Hunt, John Hopkins, and others. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I checked it out, and it does have the same. I know Dr. No did, but I may be wrong. You never know. You have You Only Live Twice in 1967. Which actually after this one, Connery would take a little bit of a hiatus from the Bond character because during the filming of this, his contract expired, and they picked up George Lazenby, who starred in his only Bond film, which was entitled On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and that was released in 1969. His agent actually convinced him not to follow up with a 7-film deal, Lazenby, that is. And Sean Connery came back with a record at the time, $1.24 million salary from United Artists to get him back in the series. He refused to play the role any farther, though, after Diamonds Are Forever. But the write-ups on here, again, Bond meets up with the diabolical Erno Stavro Blofeld, who has hijacked U.S. and Soviet spaceships. Agent 007 must undertake a pulse-pounding race to prevent the nuclear war between the superpowers, with the fate of the world hanging in balance. And that was the 1967 one that he took the hiatus on. And then, they paid him a godly amount of money for that time. That was 1971. He had a $1.24 million salary for this film, Diamonds Are Forever. While investigating the diamond market underworld, James Bond elicits the help of a beautiful diamond smuggler to fight his evil nemesis, Blofeld, who is stockpiling the gems to create a deadly laser satellite that can destroy the world. Those are all solid efforts. All the Connery films with Bond are really solid efforts. He would make a return, but it was a non-Eon produced film and not considered canon at the time. I did have, also, Thunderball on VHS from the James Bond 007 collection. There he is with his spear gun. Gotta love it. I forgot to show that off. And then I do have Diamonds Are Forever, the last effort that he did in the James Bond 007 collection, MGM UA released VHS series. So even though I had the VHSs, I didn't have, like I said, the commentaries and everything on them. So that's very cool that I was able to get a hold of those in this set. And I'm going to check right after that. And if they don't, I will update everybody. But I'm sure that they all have the audio commentaries. Because on here, nowhere does it say it. But I remember checking the Dr. No back then. I should have done it before the vid, and it said it did. And I'm pretty sure, if they put them on the solo efforts, that they're going to be on the set efforts as well. You Only Live Twice was the only one that I did not have a DVD or VHS of, too, by the way, out of his 7 films as Bond. And we will get to his 7th here in a second. But in 1973, after, Connery left after Diamonds Are Forever, they cast Roger Moore in the role, who notoriously was cast in place of Peter Sellers in the Pink Panther series. Here he comes to the James Bond series with Live and Let Die. And I really, really enjoyed this film, and it was, presented by Albert Broccoli and Harry Saltzman, just like the rest. The Eon Film production and everything like that. But it was Roger Moore starring as James Bond. This was a special edition that I've had for a while here in the collection. A lot of special features on it. You have audio commentary there featuring Guy Hamilton, the director. This was the cool one with the voodoo guy. With charm, wit, and deadly assurance, Roger Moore steps in as the suave, sophisticated, and lethal Agent 007 in a thrilling, high-powered time showdown with an infamous drug lord who's determined to eliminate Bond and conquer the world. Thrilling, high-powered. Time magazine said that. I don't know why. I kind of read that like it was part of the sentence. But there you see the rest of the special edition features that it includes. There you see the menu screens and stuff, shots from the film. This one was well done, and then after that I think they went downhill. And I did not, pick up any more from the series because of that. I've thought about it. But let's talk about one that was a non-Eon film. They produced 2 of them that had to do with James Bond. This is Casino Royale from 1967. It was David Niven starring as James Bond in his only effort. And it was a satire of the Bond movies. And it was released in 1967, as I said, and that was the same year that You Only Live Twice was released, so this was not considered canon. At the time, it was not released by Eon Films. But nonetheless, I thought that they did a hell of a job on this one. Famous Artist Productions is what it says. I thought they did a hell of a job on this movie. It has a few special features there, nothing, unbelievable. You have the Casino Royale made-for-TV movie there, though, that's interesting. But nonetheless, I thought it was great. You have Peter Sellers of Pink Panther fame there. And it's kind of funny that, they have Moore and Sellers both linked to some James Bond, and they're in Pink Panther too. Ursula Andress, David Niven, Joanna Pettit, Orson Welles, Delia Lavie, and Woody Allen. So, a spoof to end all spy spoof. So, gotta love that. A sprawling, big-budget spy spoof. So, the 1967 Casino Royale. And then they had the non-James Bond canon Never Say Never Again, which I do have the VHS to already, the big clamshell. This is the original VHS from the year it came out. I've showed this before. It's the one heavy-ass VHS, too. But I had to get this back then. I didn't have it. But it is the 7th film that he made after he returned in 1983. And it said Connery reprised his role as Bond in 83 after 12 years since Diamonds Are Forever, and it was making it his 7th and final Bond film. And here you have it on this Sean Connery collection MGM released DVD with A Bridge Too Far, Cuba, and Shalako as well. But here you have, it says, Connery gives a richly satisfying performance in his final turn as Agent 007 in this high-velocity action thriller. When 2 automatic warheads are stolen, James Bond must intervene in order to stop nuclear Armageddon. So he returns to play Bond. But at the time, Eon Productions still had the regular Bond series going, you know, with the other actors, I think, at the time. Because other actors that played George Bond as well after, or James Bond, sorry, not George Bond, but as well, it was Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, and then after the last Pierce Brosnan one they made, they decided to totally scratch everything and reboot the series, and they came back with Daniel Craig as James Bond, and a totally different kind of James Bond, more action-oriented, high-paced, but very well done. This was the first one they did, Casino Royale, not to be confused, you know, with the Casino Royale spoof that they did in '67. Casino Royale. What date was this one released? 2006, I believe. This one was released. I did not write down the release dates, but you had Casino Royale. This was a 2-disc full screen edition. Then you had the 2008 release of Quantum of Solace. So you gotta like that. This was a very well done one as well. I don't think they're as well done as the Connery Bond films. And then you have Skyfall, and Skyfall was a 2012 effort, starring Daniel Craig. So there was the first 3 with Daniel Craig, and yeah, I think this series, you know, is much different than the original Eon produced series, but nonetheless, I think they're definitely worth checking out for Bond film fans. I did not get Spectre, which was released in 2015. I still want to try to pick that one up. I recently got Skyfall, I think, in the $5 bin, so I'm hoping they do it with the other one too, sooner or later, so I can pick it up and finish out the Daniel Craig Bond movies. Bond 25 began development in early 2016, but Daniel Craig his contract has ran out, and Eon and MGM co-produced this series with Sony Pictures, and that contract has ran out as well. But they may replace the production rights with a major film studio still to release Bond 25 in cinema. And I have heard that Tom Hardy may be playing the new 007, so that'll be different. But I am a big Tom Hardy fan, so I definitely would like to check that out. But yeah, Sony Pictures' contract ended, and I think Sony Pictures had Daniel Craig under contract as Bond, so he will not be reprising his role in Bond 25. So I've heard Tom Hardy is the rumored new James Bond. But I hope everybody that tuned into this, I might have fumbled around a few spots here and there. I'm trying to read off notes and kind of remember things that I studied up on. But I hope everybody liked the showcase, the special update here over James Bond on my DVD and VHS collection. I want to thank everybody who has tuned in and watched. Make sure you give me a subscribe if you have not already. Make sure you leave a comment on your favorite Bond film or your favorite James Bond. If you like what you saw, give me a like. And yeah, guys, I really appreciate the watch. And until next time, I want to say thank you for watching. You gotta love it. You gotta love James Bond. You gotta love the entire series. And as always, till next time, peace out.